Bruce Lee was born on November 27, 1940, in San Francisco, California, during his father's opera tour. His parents were Cantonese opera singer Lee Hoi Chuen and his mother Grace Ho. As the only son of the family, Bruce's name, Lee Jun Fan, meaning return again, reflected the hope that he would one day return to the United States. He was brought up in a world of drama and performance, but he was also exposed to both Eastern and Western cultures, a fusion that would profoundly influence his philosophies and work later in life. Bruce was raised primarily in Hong Kong, where he began acting at a young age. At just 3 months old, Bruce Lee appeared in his first film, marking the beginning of a career that would span both film and martial arts. As a child, he became accustomed to the entertainment world, but he wasn't simply following in his father's footsteps. Bruce was naturally talented, and he became involved in many activities that would shape his character. His early life in Hong Kong was vibrant, but it was also filled with challenges. The young boy from Hong Kong would eventually face struggles far beyond those of most children. But it was through these challenges that Bruce would begin to forge his path to greatness. Bruce Lee's introduction to martial arts came during his teenage years, while he was still living in Hong Kong. At age 13, he was involved in several street fights, which motivated him to learn martial arts as a way of defending himself. Martial arts offered more than just self-defense. It gave Bruce a sense of discipline and purpose. He began his training under Ip Man, one of the most respected martial arts masters in the world, specializing in Wing Chun. Ip Man's teachings helped Bruce Lee hone his natural talent, and it was through this martial art that Bruce began to realize the deeper philosophy behind martial arts. It was not just about fighting, it was about control, focus, and personal growth. At first, Bruce's training was about the basics: how to defend oneself, how to fight. But as Bruce advanced, his focus turned to more intricate techniques and philosophies. During his training, he encountered several obstacles and difficulties. Many of these obstacles were not just physical, but also emotional. Bruce felt that traditional martial arts had certain limitations that restricted his potential. This feeling sparked his desire to innovate and push the boundaries of martial arts beyond the traditional forms. In addition to Wing Chun, Bruce also studied a wide variety of other martial arts, including boxing, fencing, and other combat styles. Bruce Lee was not content to stick to a single discipline. His philosophy became one of continuous improvement and open-minded exploration. This was the beginning of what would eventually become Jeet Kune Do, the martial art and philosophy that would change the world. At the age of 18, Bruce Lee left Hong Kong and moved to Seattle, seeking a better life and an opportunity to escape. While at the university, Bruce Lee didn't just focus on his studies. He began teaching martial arts to other students, blending the classical Wing Chun techniques with his own evolving philosophy. His approach was innovative, mixing traditional martial arts with new ideas, and it quickly gained attention. Bruce's classes became so popular that he eventually opened his own martial arts school. At this point, Bruce Lee had begun to establish himself as an important figure in the martial arts community in America. Bruce's move to the United States was not only about education or martial arts, it was also about making a name for himself in the larger world. In a new country, far from the familiar streets of Hong Kong, Bruce had to prove his worth. And he did just that. He faced many challenges, including cultural differences, a language barrier, and the prejudice often faced by Asian immigrants in America. But Bruce was resilient. His passion for martial arts and his dedication to his craft helped him overcome these hurdles, and soon, his unique teaching style began attracting the attention of people from all walks of life. Over time, Bruce Lee became increasingly frustrated with the limitations of traditional martial arts. While his foundation in Wing Chun was solid, he believed that martial arts needed to evolve to adapt to new challenges. He didn't believe in rigid forms or practices that restricted his movements or his expression. This frustration led to the development of Jeet Kune Do, a martial art that would revolutionize how people approached combat. Jeet Kune Do, which means the way of the intercepting fist, was founded on principles of efficiency, simplicity, and adaptability. Unlike traditional martial arts that relied on rigid forms, Jeet Kune Do emphasized using whatever worked best for a situation, regardless of style. For Bruce, the focus was on practicality. Jeet Kune Do was about breaking down the barriers between different fighting styles and being fluid and adaptable in combat. He famously said, "Absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own." This innovative approach was not just about fighting technique. It was a philosophy for life. Bruce Lee applied the principles of Jeet Kune Do to his everyday existence, advocating for self-expression, adaptability, and personal growth. He wasn't just shaping a new fighting style, he was shaping a new way of life. By the mid-1960s, Bruce Lee had become a well-known figure in martial arts circles, but he still struggled to gain recognition in mainstream Hollywood. His first significant break in the film industry came in 1966 when he was cast as Kato in the TV series The Green Hornet. While the role was small, it showcased Bruce's exceptional martial arts skills and charismatic screen presence. However, the series didn't last long, and Bruce's role as Kato was overshadowed by the racial stereotypes that were prevalent at the time. Despite his talent, Bruce Lee was often cast in roles that fit stereotypical Asian characters. Hollywood was not yet ready for an Asian actor to break out as a leading man, and Bruce was well aware of this. Instead of accepting these limitations, Bruce returned to Hong Kong, where he would redefine his career and ultimately break through to global fame. Back in Hong Kong, Bruce Lee embarked on a series of iconic films that would propel him to international stardom. His first major success came with the release of The Big Boss, 1971, which was followed by Fist of Fury, 1972. These films were groundbreaking in the way they portrayed martial arts on screen. Bruce's fight choreography was innovative, and his on-screen presence was magnetic. His films weren't just action-packed, they were also deeply philosophical, reflecting his belief in martial arts as a means of personal empowerment. Bruce Lee's impact on the film industry was undeniable. He was no longer just a martial artist, he was a global icon. His films shattered box office records and made him a household name. In a world that had previously dismissed Asian actors as secondary, Bruce Lee became a symbol of strength, resilience, and excellence. His success in Hong Kong was just the beginning. The world was about to experience the full force of Bruce Lee's influence. In 1973, Bruce Lee achieved what many believed was impossible. He starred in Enter the Dragon, a film that was the first major collaboration between Hollywood and Hong Kong cinema. This film brought together all of the elements that Bruce Lee had spent years perfecting. His unique martial arts philosophy, his dynamic on-screen presence, and his ability to captivate audiences. Enter the Dragon was a global sensation and cemented Bruce Lee's status as an international superstar. Tragically, just days before Enter the Dragon was released, Bruce Lee passed away at the age of 32. His sudden death shocked the world, and fans everywhere mourned the loss of a true legend. However, his legacy was far from over. Enter the Dragon became a massive success and solidified Bruce Lee's place in the pantheon of cinematic legends. Bruce Lee's influence on martial arts and film cannot be overstated. He revolutionized martial arts, introducing the world to a new philosophy of fighting that was based on adaptability and efficiency. He broke down the traditional barriers between martial arts styles, creating a more dynamic and fluid approach to combat. But Bruce Lee's legacy extends far beyond martial arts. He was a cultural icon who transcended boundaries and shattered stereotypes. As one of the first Asian actors to break through in Hollywood, Bruce Lee paved the way for future generations of Asian actors to take on leading roles in mainstream cinema. He also introduced Eastern philosophies to the West, encouraging people to think more deeply about personal growth, discipline, and self-expression. Bruce Lee's impact continues to be felt today, not only in martial arts, but also in the worlds of film, philosophy, and pop culture. His philosophy, as embodied in Jeet Kune Do, remains a guiding principle for martial artists, athletes, and individuals seeking to break through their own limitations and achieve greatness. Through his films, his teachings, and his enduring legacy, Bruce Lee's influence lives on. He wasn't just a martial artist or a movie star.